Dromaeosaurus. Okay, guys, so hello again. Today we're going to be talking about Dromaeosaurus, a very important group and a very famous group of Dromaeosaurus. They have one of the most recognizable dinosaurs ever discovered, ever mentioned. And yeah, so Dromaeosaurus, awesome creatures. We have a lot to look today, so it's going to be a bit of a longer video. But I couldn't leave some of these Dromaeosaurus out. They have a bunch of different they come in different shapes and sizes. I love Dromaeosaurs. They're so cool. Dromaeosaurs have some traits that are present in all of them, which are the following: sickle claw. Some have a bigger one, some have a smaller one, but they have sickle claws. They have feathers, pugnacious feathers. Usually most of them have two, one of each arm. Some have more. We'll talk about that. And they have a tail fan. So a little tail fan right there, you see? Very cool. Dromaeosaurs are all covered in feathers. Yes, all your Dromaeosaurs should be feathers. Should have feathers. Velociraptor. We're starting strong this time. Velociraptor. Who doesn't know Velociraptor? I'd say one of the top 5 most well-known dinosaurs ever discovered. If you ask your grandma, she'll probably know what a Velociraptor is. But does she know what a real Velociraptor looks like? So, Velociraptor, very, very famous for a certain film, Jurassic Park. Probably not the best represented way Velociraptor. They did make it cool. However, I'll argue and say that the only thing they got wrong was, aside from, all the murdering people and the huge ass size, are the feathers, honestly. Because prior to this, dinosaurs were viewed in a very different way. Velociraptor is a great introduction to people that don't know dinosaurs. So, Velociraptor is adorable. First of all, it's very tiny, not at all like the film, and it probably wouldn't kill a person, but all those little mammals and lizards are definitely terrified of it. Velociraptor, awesome dinosaur, awesome creature. We know a lot about him. It's actually a couple different species of Velociraptor. They're known from Mongolia, and yeah, we have a lot of fossils from them, and also it's the protagonist of one of the craziest and coolest fossils ever discovered, the battling dinosaurs. And yes, I do have it tattooed on my arm, which you can see right here. Yes, you can see Velociraptor fighting, Protoceratops, which was probably a prey item of them. And they died in combat, which is metal as hell. So, Velociraptor, you are so cool. However, knowing what comes next, I'm gonna put you in B tier. In real life, you do not have that much going for you. You are cool though. Sinornithosaurus. It's gonna throw you a little bit of a curveball here. Sinornithosaurus. You probably heard of it. Maybe not. And the ones that probably heard of it don't think of Sinornithosaurus necessarily as a dromaeosaurid, but yeah, it is a dromaeosaurid, a very small one, and it's part of a group that also encompasses our other little friend, Microraptor. But I wanted to talk about Sinornithosaurus specifically for one thing, and it's the fact that its skull, when it was discovered, they thought it was venomous, and that's a crazy thing to say from just fossils. This is outrageous. It's actually kind of crazy that they just outright and said this thing is venomous. But they had some ideas with it. They found that it had some little like holes like right above the teeth, and then the teeth were like a little bit out of their sockets. They were like fairly out of where the teeth are supposed to be. But then it was revised, and they're like, you know what, this is some crazy. Like most theropods have these holes in their skulls, like right up in their mandibles, which is crazy. So Sinornithosaurus was probably not venomous by any means. However, if you've seen the documentary Planet Dinosaur, it is crazy that they put that in the actual documentary. It was very debated when it first came out, the hypothesis. But to actually put it in a documentary and have it kill another dinosaur with venom is insane. Very audacious, but very insane. So I'm going to put Sinornithosaurus. It's going to go in C tier. Microraptor. Microraptor is the other guy that I was talking about with Sinornithosaurus. Oh my god, my computer. With Sinornithosaurus. So Microraptor is an insane find. We found them with what is presumably, and not very presumably honestly, is the fact that it had 4 wings, both 2 on each forelimb and 2 on each hind limb, which is very weird for first of all, for a dinosaur in general to have 4 wings. It's insane, but animals in general usually don't have 4 wings. Birds don't have 4 wings. So Microraptor is an insane find. It is so well preserved, that fossil, that we even know what color Microraptor was, which is, an iridescent black. So kind of like, ravens or corvids in general today, but with an iridescent tint to them. Microraptor is a great pioneer of the feathering on dinosaurs and what they might have been used for. Because you might see a Velociraptor or one of the later Dromaeosaurus we're going to be talking about. But Microraptor is undeniably a skyborne creature. How so? It probably didn't fly like a bird, probably didn't go like a long distance. However, for gliding and going from tree to tree, those 4 wings are actually, very, very useful. So Microraptor, such a cool little critter. I want to say B tier because it's very significant as well. Pyroraptor. Okay, so right away, I know this is going to be a long ass video. Pyroraptor, I'm not going to say too much about it because it is very fragmentary, but it is a dromaeosaur from Europe, which is not a place where you'd find a lot of, dromaeosaurs. But Pyroraptor is a little critter. Probably it's between a couple different groups inside of Dromaeosaur. So it's either a Dromaeosauridae or an unlagging, which we're going to be talking about a little later. But which basically means is we don't have enough fossils to know from which little family is associated with, what its closest relatives would be. However, we know it was very lanky and very slim and very small. So that means it was probably not the top predator of its environment. But Europe wasn't very, it was just a bunch of islands at the moment, so probably didn't need that amount of size because it was hopping from island to island. It didn't need it really, honestly. So Pyroraptor, little critter, cool. You've seen it in Dinosaur Planet. Yes, it's not supposed to be that big. Yes, pod is cool. However, it's not going to say Pyroraptor. Pyroraptor is going to go straight into C tier. I'm sorry, little boy. Although the name Thief of the Fire, because it was found in a fire, is actually kind of cool. Dromaeosaurus. So we're going with the namesake of the family of this group, Dromaeosaurus. So kind of like the size, rivaling its size with Velociraptor. So a smaller one, smaller Dromaeosaur. And it lived all the way in North America. It's been found in Prince Creek and Dinosaur Park formations, which are Upper Cretaceous. Well, not Upper Cretaceous, no, that's bad. Like Lake Companion. And they might be in Hell Creek as well. They found some teeth from Hell Creek. So it might be known from there as well. So a very long range of time for Dromaeosaurus. It was a very small, as I said, rivaling Velociraptor in size. And the way it differs from Velociraptor has a more elongated skull. And Dromaeosaurus had like a much deeper, like massive skull. Like for its size, its skull is like a little big. And you might be thinking, well, what adaptations that might entail, what that might mean for Dromaeosaurus. So the way it works is probably what it was hunting. It probably consumed everything from it, even bones. So the way their skull work are much different. If your skull is a little shorter, then you probably have a much stronger bite force. And it is, some studies say that it was like around 3 times as strong as Velociraptor, and that's a lot. For such a small animal, 3 times more is insane. Like, imagine, like, another person, like, you can bite a bone, and you're like, okay, this hurts. But another person of your same size bites a bone, and they just crushes it. It's a little scary. So, Dromaeosaurus, little cool animal. It's the namesake of the group, so that gives it a little bit of points. Not too many, though. I'm gonna say Dromaeosaurus takes the A-tier spot. Utahraptor. So, this is one of the big guys. The one everyone talks about when they talk about cool Dromaeosaurus. Utahraptor. So, Utahraptor, hailing from, you can take a guess. I'm gonna say Utah. But Utahraptor is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Dromaeosaur. Can probably look you in the eye. It probably weigh like a little less than a ton, like 500 kilograms, which is insane. Like Dromaeosaurus in general, like these little critters are like scary. Like I don't want to find one, but one that would look me in the eye is just like that big. It's just a little scary. Not a little scary, very scary. And again, heavily feathered, huge Dromaeosaur. It lived in dense forests around North America, and its skull, again, a little shorter than other Dromaeosaurus, but it probably at that size, I don't care what is the size of your skull. That thing is gonna crush everything. It's gonna hunt everything. Like nothing this thing doesn't want to kill is gonna get out of. Like, I'm sorry, Utahraptor is just metal as hell. Utahraptor is gonna take the S tier. Very deserved. Utahraptor is one of the craziest looking dinosaurs ever. The fact that it's that big and it still has a sickle claw is demonic. Deinonychus. The guy that started it all. Not the first dinosaur, but probably also known as one of the most important discovery of the 20th century when it comes to dinosaurs is Deinonychus. So before Deinonychus, dinosaurs were thought to be, slow, sluggish animals, cold-blooded, they didn't move that much, which couldn't be more far from reality. Deinonychus showed us that dinosaurs were warm-blooded, active animals that hunted and lived their lives in constant move. Like, Deinonychus is also very big for a Dromaeosaur. On the bigger side, not as big as Utahraptor, but Deinonychus, awesome creature. You've probably seen it before in Jurassic Park. Yes. So in Jurassic Park, the Velociraptor is named Velociraptor, but is actually reconstructed from Deinonychus. Why is it called Velociraptor? Apparently, Deinonychus is not a cool name. Excuse me? Deinonychus is a sick name. What do you mean by it's not cool? But well, we live the 90s to the 90s. Deinonychus gives us a lot of insight into our Dromaeosaur friends, especially on the juveniles, because although we haven't found like a ton of juvenile Dromaeosaurus, we have found eggs containing Deinonychus embryos, and the fact that the babies, like this is the thing that I wasn't thinking before. Like, I didn't think of a baby Dromaeosaurus, but the fact that these guys have, pennaceous feathers on their hands, they have whole wings, makes me think that when they were juveniles, they probably climbed trees, which makes sense because these are, babies and they're like very small. So what are you gonna do in the forest, or wherever you live, or running around, when you can just use those huge ass hands? Because Deinonychus is also known for having huge hands with huge claws, not only on their feet but on their hands. And the fact that they could climb trees and basically be on the trees might be for escaping, sleeping, or the way they hunted, which would be the raptor restraint, which is, pouncing on prey, using your sickle claw to just hold him in place, and then just start tearing it with your mouth. So Deinonychus just gives us a lot of insight. It's such a cool animal. Is it S tier? I feel like I'm talking Deinonychus up, so I'm gonna give it an S tier. Halszkaraptor. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little briefer with this one. Halszkaraptor. I don't have a ton of information. However, I wanted to talk about it since when I was doing my research, Halszkaraptor is such an interesting dinosaur, Dromaeosaur. Yeah, it was very small. It was like the size of a duck. However, the adaptabilities that they found when they discovered this little guy are insane. Like, this dinosaur might have been a semi-aquatic Dromaeosaur. Like, the fact that it had a short tail means that the center of mass or gravity was further, forward towards the front of the animal, which makes it good for swimming. And his little feet, kind of, I don't know if they found web feet actually, but its feet were like more likely adapted to, paddle. And it had like little wings, which, like, huge wings probably, like huge arms probably wouldn't help for such a tiny animal. But it also, the shape of the neck and the little head suggests like an mostly semi-aquatic lifestyle, which is so cool. So I think I found like one of my new favorite Dromaeosaurs in Halszkaraptor. Is such a cute little guy as well. It's probably like a little ancient duck, a cooler duck. So, you know what, Halszkaraptor, gotta put you in B tier. I don't think you're A tier, but B tier is good for you. Austroraptor, and we're gonna end this list with Austroraptor and Unenlagin, which is, I mentioned before, are these Dromaeosaurs that basically have much more elongated snouts and more gracile looking, a little thinner than other Dromaeosaurs. So Austroraptor is from South America, Argentina, and it has some insanely cool adaptations, honestly. They're called the Spinosaurus of the Dromaeosaur world. So you basically have very long legs, which are very thin. So it's probably built for a more cursorial lifestyle. They probably run very, not very fast, although fast, but they could have spend more time running than normal other Dromaeosaurs. Also, their forelimbs, their arms, are very short. Like, Dromaeosaurs usually use their arms a lot, probably for prey restraint, but Austroraptor didn't really have that much bigger arms. They were really small. I don't want to say T-Rex size because, or like comparable to T-Rex, but they were very small, and their skulls were very long, which gives us the idea that this guy's probably had a more piscivorous diet, which are fish. Yes, those usually Dromaeosaur's teeth are blade-like and serrated. Austroraptor has conical teeth, non-serrated at all. So kind of like Spinosaurids, which is crazy. So they probably did this through convergent evolution, and they probably took the niche. Like, this is probably a niche that the Dromaeosaurus and the South were like, you know what? This is free real estate. Let's just take the piscivorous diet for us. So, Austroraptor, I'm going to put in an A. It's awesome. And it's such a different Dromaeosaur as well from the other ones. So that gives it a lot of points. Also, it's huge. I haven't mentioned that, but Austroraptor is freaking huge. Probably look you in the eyes as well. Like, comparable in size to Utahraptor, but much more thinner, so not as heavy. So that is our tier list, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love Dromaeosaurus. Let me know what would you change. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And comment, subscribe, do all of that. Thank you so much, guys. See you.